Today is Wednesday, September 25th. Good morning from the Civic Media News Desk. I'm Joanne Krulotz. A 21-year-old rock climber from Wisconsin died Sunday from a fall at Devil's Tower in Wyoming. The National Park Service says Devil's Tower law enforcement received a call for a rock climber who had reportedly sustained a fall and found the injured party and their climbing partner around 8:40 at night. A release from NPS says Stuart Philip Porter of Eau Claire was rappelling the second pitch of El Craco Diablo when he fell, sustaining major injuries. He was pronounced dead on the scene by a local EMS paramedic. Porter's partner was stranded and later rescued from the wall of the tower. This is just the seventh climbing death in the 100-plus year climbing history at Devil's Tower. Political parties are putting a lot of effort into the youth vote here in Wisconsin. Some analysts say young voting people alone could decide the election.
Ever since Kamala Harris was named the nominee, there's been about a 20% jump in enthusiasm from Wisconsin voters age 18 to 29. That means social media may play a bigger role than ever. Hilario De Leon is chair of the Milwaukee County Republican Party.
Everyone's on it. We get our news from it. I have a TikTok account. I have my own social media platforms that I do. Any major, corporation, company, sports team, political group, they all have social media.
Matthew Lehner is chair of the College Democrats of Wisconsin.
Social media is one of the big reasons why Janet Protasiewicz did so well in the 2023 Supreme Court election. I think you're going to see that again in 2024.
14% of young Wisconsin voters are still undecided. That's more than double any other age group.
The Washington Post highlighted Senator Tammy Baldwin's Go Everywhere campaign strategy. The column features Tammy's recent stops with voters from Richland and Lafayette counties, two counties that voted for President Trump in 2016 and 2020, but flipped for Baldwin in 2018. When Senator Baldwin kicked her re-election campaign into high gear last November with a one-year-to-win tour, the first place she stopped was Richland Center, where she cut the ribbon to open a new local Democratic headquarters. The article goes on to say that Democrats cannot afford to ignore rural America. After supporting Barack Obama in both his presidential campaigns, Richland County voted for Donald Trump by 5.5 percentage points in 2016 and expanded his margin to 9.7 points in 2020. But in 2018, Baldwin won in Richland County even bigger by 14.6 points. Richland was one of 17 such Trump to Baldwin counties in the state, which suggests there are still some parts of the country where ticket splitting has not gone entirely extinct. Former Governor Tommy Thompson says he wants former President Donald Trump to campaign in the state's two bluest counties. He says Wisconsin is not a done deal for Kamala Harris and says Trump's team should come to Dane and Milwaukee counties, which he called, quote, the belly of the beast. In 2020, Joe Biden won 75% of the vote in Dane County and 69% of the vote in Milwaukee County. New numbers show the job market has rebounded in Wisconsin since the pandemic, but it's not equal across the state. The nonpartisan Wisconsin Policy Forum found while overall Wisconsin has more jobs now than it did in 2019, that doesn't mean every county is advancing in that category. 42 of Wisconsin's 72 counties have fewer jobs than they did before the pandemic. That means the state's strongest economic areas, like Dane and Milwaukee counties, are carrying a lot of those jobs. After 47 years, a Southwest Wisconsin business will be closing its doors. The Wisconsin-Iowa Shopping News in Prairie du Chien will cease its print and digital publications and permanently close its operations. The final edition will be October 1st. It was deemed no longer financially viable to continue to operate in a market being served by other media organizations. The closing of the Prairie du Chien location does not affect the Richland Center, Platteville, or Dyersville, Iowa locations of the Shopping News. All three remain open to serve their respective communities. The Richland Center Shopping News has been part of the local community for 92 years. The Richland Center Shopping News and Express Printing will host an open house and Grace fundraiser on Friday, October 4th. Guests will be able to tour the facility and meet staff from 11 to 2. Walking tacos will be available with proceeds benefiting Grace. The public is welcome to attend. Governor Tony Evers and the Department of Natural Resources announced nearly $460,000 in grants to fight PFAS and manganese contamination in the state's smaller public water systems. Evers' office says these smaller systems have historically been ineligible for financial assistance through the department to remove PFAS and manganese. With the funding, the communities will be able to drill new wells, connect to existing public water systems, or install treatment to receive a safer water supply. The annual Milk into Cheese Hayride will be held Saturday at 1. The ride will show the emerging fall colors on some of Richland County's scenic rural roads. The Milk into Cheese Hayride is hosted by Ed and Linda Chitwood. The Chitwoods rely on the generosity and support of their friends and neighbors to make milk into cheese possible. The hayride is free, but free will donations are appreciated and will be used to support the Milk into Cheese program that provides local cheese to local food pantries. Those wishing to participate should arrive in time to be seated on a wagon in time to leave at 1. The Milk into Cheese hayride will start near the Chitwoods' home, take Birds Creek Valley Drive off Highway 60, and then follow the signs to the staging area. Reservations are not necessary but are appreciated. Reservations can be made by calling 608-537-2340. Be sure to leave a message if you do not get an answer, letting the Chitwoods know how many will be in your party. The number for Saturday's hayride again is 537-2340. Today is World Pharmacist Day, a day to celebrate the vital role that community pharmacies play in ensuring the health and well-being of our communities. Pharmacists are often the most accessible healthcare professionals, offering trusted advice, medication, management, and support right where people live, work, and shop. Access to a community pharmacy is more important than ever, whether it's answering health questions, helping manage chronic conditions, administering vaccinations, or providing life-saving medications. Pharmacists are here to serve and support patients at every stage of their health journey. Recognize the dedication of pharmacists and the essential services they provide. Together, we can ensure that everyone has access to the healthcare resources they need in their communities. We wish a happy World Pharmacist Day to our local pharmacies: Boscobel Pharmacy, Center Pharmacy, Richland Family Prescription Center, Spring Green Health Mart Pharmacy, and Hometown Pharmacy in Muscoda. Monroe County officials have filed charges in a decades-old homicide. District Attorney Kevin Corninger announced Tuesday that 60-year-old Michael Popp will face murder charges in the 1985 death of Terry Dalloway. DNA evidence on Dalloway's body at the time of her death was linked to Popp last year. Popp was interviewed around the time of Dalloway's murder, but police did not follow up at that time. Popp is being held on $1 million cash bond. And Culver's is bringing back the fan favorite along with a twist on Wisconsin staple. The Wisconsin food chain announced the Curter Burger will be returning to menus beginning October 1st, but only for a limited time until October 14th. Culver's is also debuting hot honey cheese curds on October 15th, which happens to be National Cheese Curd Day. The company describes it as Culver's signature curd with just a touch of sweet heat from a hot honey breading. The hot honey cheese curds will be available until October 31st.